your recommendation for young people who wants to become an actor?
Okay. Well, becoming an actor is a life choice, a lifestyle. It's not just a job or say, to be honest, because it's such a difficult lifestyle to be an actor, because you're constantly under spotlights, and also you're not. So they basically, what happens is you are introduced to this world of competition, and you're constantly trying, and you learn to fail so many times, and your achievements are actually you fall and fall and fall, and then you learn to wake up and stand on your feet, and not to feel sad about losing the job offer or whatever. But it's a constant struggle. So it is not just going to school and taking education and meeting people. It is also a lifestyle. What is my favorite?
Food.
I love burgers. The world cuisine. I think I'm a fan of Thai food. I really enjoy Thai food.
Okay.
Become an actress.
Yes. I decided to become an actress when I was 6. It was a big, straightforward decision. I remember myself in theatre. I was in Turkey back then, and I think something happened during that time. The education system didn't allow me to express my inspiration that much, but when I became 18, I think it was 17, sorry, I had to make a decision, and I chose acting. And I went to a 4-year acting education school, and then after I graduated, went to London for 2 years. So it was a lot of investment to my education.
Okay.
Would you describe yourself with 3 words?
3 words. I would say emotional, strong, and persistent.
Okay.
So when I was around 8 years old, I remember during our religion lesson, our teacher said that God was everywhere, and he was able to see whatever we do and every step. So in that age, it actually made me, I think I was scared a lot about that idea. So I remember going to, staying alone in one room and remembering those words, and imagining this invisible being in the air looking at me. So it actually made me feel insecure about my presence when I was alone, and I developed this fear throughout my teenage years. And actually, when I was trying to express myself in any circumstances, I wasn't fully engaged with what I was saying, because I had that fear all the time. And I studied acting, and during that education, I also had arts and culture lectures. And I come across with this guy who wrote an article about, he made actually a point about art and how we receive art. And his name is John Berger, and he says that throughout history, women has become an object of science, and they have developed this conscience of being looked at all the time, and that made the life and their perception slightly difficult than men. So how they perceive themselves and how they understand themselves is so hard, and harder than how men can do it. So it was a very interesting read, and when I come to this age, basically, I read Matt American's stage play Exhibit, and I got so affected by it, because there were these frames and men were holding them,
and women were allowed to walk around this exhibition and talk to these men behind the frames. So then the inspiration to do that film was actually a connection with all these things that I just told you. So it was kind of a manifesto of portraying how I feel, putting men behind the frames and make them an object of sight, and try to say that, you know, this is how I feel all the time. I feel like I'm an object behind frames, and I need to be aware of my presence all the time, and I need to behave accordingly. So that is the inspiration.
What is your favorite film?
I'm actually a film geek, so it is hard to say, but my favorite film series basically is Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I also like Rogue One too. Just having that Star Wars world is an incredible thing to observe, and having different stories from different worlds of Star Wars was also a very interesting journey for me.
How to become an actor or someone with a creative job and be successful at it?
Anything creative is difficult because you become so vulnerable. Because people criticize what you do, what you put your heart into all the time. But also you get used to it, so you become immune to it in a way. But at the beginning, I think you feel attacked, you take everything personal, and it's a struggle. And once you get that it's not a personal attack, actually they're not attacking you, but the thing you produce, then it becomes a professional approach, so you become a real professional. So to have that click is a bit of a practice, and you actually need to go through a lot of stuff as a human, you know, to in that journey. So it takes some people can't actually handle it and become extremely vulnerable, and they become so fragile. It's hard for them to continue being in creative business.
Who and what inspired you to be who you are?
Well, my experiences, actually, everything that I've been through made me who I am today, good or bad. But the way I educate myself with these experiences and choose to make myself better, a better version of myself, and understand the mistakes and take responsibility on every step of the way, has made me who I am today. And people I came across with, even this experience I'm having with you guys right now, is adding so much to my identity and the way I perceive life. So I'm actually open. I think I don't know how this happened, but throughout time, in my personal history, everyone I met added something to my the way I receive life. So everyone I met, I could say.
Well, when I hear about feminism, I think about how women, they as strong and equal to men, and that they can do as much as men can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I do think that women do need the same rights as men because they're both equal and they're both human. So there's no point of men having more power than women.
I think it was 1920s. Imagine 1920s, okay? You're wearing a corset, a really tight dress, and you're not allowed to wear trousers, especially in Europe. And this is okay, we can deal with that. But what is difficult is you don't have access to making money. You're not allowed to do a job. You're allowed to do jobs. You go to factories or whatever. But what is sad is you're a property of the man who is responsible of you, and that is either your father, your brother, or your husband. And if your husband passed away, it's your son. So you actually have no rights over finances, and you don't pretty much exist. So property is coming from the idea of having animals as well. So in the farms, in the farms, you have 10 cows and 20 sheep. and you also have women, and they are on the same level. It was like that in the past, but it's not far away from us. Like it's not too far from where we are right now, and it is still a power of gaining the women energy and women existence. Even though today we have so many rights as women, it's still a struggle because of the whole concept of governmental system, financial system, and also how we live. Basically, they structured through how men can survive, which means, say, women have periods, for instance, men don't have periods, and that affects in the work environment. So you want to have more toilet breaks. This is just a simple, basic need. And also, men won't give birth, and we do, and that affects our work structures as well. We have the potential to lose our jobs because we get pregnant, and this is a major issue as well. Nowadays, the biggest struggle in the feminist world is to gain more access to jobs because there's incredible sexism going on. People don't necessarily want to work with women in so-called identified masculine jobs. Say in the construction business, engineering, it's still hard for men to accept women because they cause problems. Their moods shift all the time. Those are kind of the excuses, and this should not be acceptable. And some of the things we don't see that are happening and we accept as the way they are doesn't mean that they're correct. So feminism is an approach, and it is diverse from society to society, and some of them are really extreme and can exceed to a level that, as you described, man-hater kind of level. But it's not that. It's not about hating men or women to be standalone, and it's not an aggressive energy. It is actually a concept of understanding and making this world a better place for all of us. So I could actually phrase it that way.
Who are your favorite actors?
Okay, I have one favorite actor. She is an incredible actress. Her name is Isabelle Huppert. Isabelle Huppert is a French actress, and her films are quite extreme, so you might not be able to watch them now. She is amazing because her expertise is camera acting, and she knows how to use emotions and project them. And her craft is to basically use her face and project so many emotions behind her eyes and behind her muscles. So I really enjoy her craft as an actress.
What does innovative performing mean?
Innovative performing is actually innovative performance, and it is a concept of creating something new within visual arts. And visual arts is from my point of view, it is staging. So it's actually pushing the boundaries of work. So this actually the easiest way to explain this to you is to say, do you know Kandinsky, for instance? Do you know a guy called Kandinsky? Do you know Picasso?
Yes.
Well, okay.
Okay, so Picasso, imagine Picasso's drawings and paintings. And go back further down to early 80s and 70s. It was unquestionable to imagine someone coming up with such paintings of merged faces and disoriented bone structures, and quite close to abstract, but not really, was impossible because painting was photography. So it was actually drawing the moment, that frame, whatever that image is, and copying that onto canvas. So what Picasso and the others, Picasso is just an example, what they did was they actually played the perception of drawing and creativity and that became innovative. So they challenged the ongoing perception of sight in arts and they come up with those paintings that people start to like, and it was unacceptable for the authorities and the status quo, but then it became fashion and it turned into something else. You can also think about Andy Warhol. He made art so accessible to everyone, and you can think of
Azra?
What's the thing you are most proud of?
Proud is a really good word, but I could say appreciate about one of my strengths. I would say that I don't give up. I fight. I'm a fighter, and I'm a survivor, and I don't accept to be a victim in any circumstance. Even though it might be quite confusing to hear someone saying I don't accept to be a victim. This is actually empowering because if someone hurts you or if someone does something to violate you, either physically or emotionally, or confuse your mind and oppress you, or insult you or harass you in any way, you become a victim automatically of that oppressor, and that person becomes his action becomes something out of him, and he actually leaves it in you. Even though he's no longer around you, she's no longer around you, you carry the fragments of that moment, and that person carries on living in you. So the only way to deal with this is to fight that fragment, because you actually carry that. So as a practice, what I'm trying to do and appreciate that I'm capable of doing this is to fight against those fragments of painful experiences. And I'm trying to educate myself to become more powerful against those moments.
What does getting into a role feel like?
It depends on the role. This is something that I really like portraying. It becomes something that I very much enjoy, and it feels like another life you start to live, and you become that person. You channel into that person's psyche, so you portray that person. But if it's something that I don't really enjoy, I feel disconnected, and it becomes something that I don't really like being in the environment that I'm portraying the character. This doesn't necessarily happen to me because I have the tendency to choose, and I really like my job. I appreciate when there's a character that is introduced to me, but sometimes I receive some scripts that I don't really feel it's working, and I don't really agree with the message of the text, so I choose not to do it.
What are your upcoming projects?
Currently, we are developing one project that is going to be in Turkish, in Welsh, and in English. And there will be two characters, two women on stage, and it will be about how would you reconstruct yourself if you were given a second chance to come to this world again. So it is a question that we might actually ask each other. So what would you be if you had the second chance to come to this world? Would you be a woman? Would you be a man? Would you be an elephant? Would you be a frog? You know, you would ask these questions when you were a child, but when you experience migrating to another country and say you don't have a chance to go back, you have no other chance but to adapt to the place you are now living. And that is a very difficult, even for adults, not just for minors, but for adults as well, to make friends, to figure out what you like, and all the habits you have in your country are no longer available, and you miss home, you miss your friends, you miss your family. So it is a very difficult psychology to adopt. And we experienced something like this. So we were obsessed with the idea of reconstructing yourself and finding happiness and connecting with life again. We did a show called Enough is Enough about violence against women and child abuse. And we toured across Wales with it last year. And now we're going to take it to make it an England tour. First we will come to London. And then we'll tour across to Birmingham, to Liverpool, Manchester, Huddersfield, Leeds, York, all the places that you can imagine in England.
What is your favourite place in the world?
Well, I haven't seen everywhere in the world. There are only a few places I've seen so far. But I like being in the seaside. I'm feeling the sunlight on my skin. I miss that here in this country. You don't necessarily have the sun smiling, but it's constant rain.
Yeah.
So anywhere that has the sun and the sea would be fine for me.
What are the differences between working as an actress in Turkey and in Wales?
Well, first of all, speaking my own language is the biggest difference. In Turkey, when I work as an actress, they use their own language. Here, I usually cast as foreign characters, playing having different accents. So either I become a Polish person, which I did on BBC in Partners in Crime. I become a Turkish Turkish character with a Turkish accent. I played a Jewish woman. I played a Yazidi woman. I played Balkan woman. So Spanish as well. Adding all the accents, speaking in English is a major difference. But in Wales, I'm also learning Welsh. And I was recently in S4C, the regional channel, playing a Turkish dentist in Welsh language with Turkish accents. So that was a challenge. Sure.
Yeah.
You can say shmai. Shmai. Shmai means what's up.
What's up? Uh-huh.
So it's like, hi, shmai, what's up? And if you say boreda, boreda is good morning.
Okay, wonderful.
What would you like children to learn at school and at home? Why?
Do you know what? I feel like children are not given enough space to speak their problems. That's how I feel like. And I think adults don't listen to children at all. And the world is going to be yours within a couple of years, because the adults that are making the decisions today are actually making decisions on your future. So I feel like your voice should be prioritized, and you should have the power to be involved in the discussions, because what you are observing is actually the voice of future. What I mean by that is, I had a 5-year-old nephew. When he was 3, he could be able to download an app from my phone, figure out my passcode, and actually pay for an app from my phone, and put it on an airplane mode and turning it back to 4G or 3G, whatever. So he wasn't able to speak, but he was able to do all of this. So what I mean by that is, we are given with the technology the tools to make our lives easy, but because of our age and because of the things we are responsible of, we don't invest in those tools as much as you can, and the younger generation behind you can. So you actually become an expert of the technology, artificial intelligence, and you you gain so much power in those environments, and you understand it more than the adults. So the world is evolving around technology, and it's becoming more digital, and the ideas of today are actually really old-fashioned, and they don't solve the problems. Whereas your perception and your involvement, I truly believe that, by the way, may actually make future a better place.